Now that we have our textures applied to our objects, we can begin thinking about taking these assets into Unity. There are a couple of different ways that we could export these out of Blender. As we saw earlier on, I can just save this as a blend file and drag that into Unity. But when we did this before, there was really nothing else in the scene. Now we have a lot of other objects in the scene. We need to be able to export objects out individually. And one way to do that is just to go to File, Export. And for our file type, I think the best one to use in this situation is the FBX. And that's simply because when we were dragging our blend file into Unity earlier, Unity was then using Blender's own FBX converter to convert the file to something that Unity could use. So now as we're exporting the individual items, we might as well use the FBX converter now and do the conversion here. So I'll click FBX, and over here in the export settings, I'm going to choose selected objects. So only that object that I selected will be exported. I'll go over to my exports folder, and I'll give this a name that'll make sense to me once I get it into Unity. I'll call it Building 1 and FBX and Export. Now let's go take a look at it in Unity. So here in Unity, we can once again just drag this file in. Here are the cube tests that we had before. So I can take this file now and just drag it directly in to Unity. I'll put it in my models folder that I created earlier. And there we are. Now we can take this building and just drag it straight out into the scene. I'll go ahead and zero it out. And I'll zoom in with the F key. Now we can take this model and move it and rotate it and place it wherever we would like in the scene. Let's say it goes there. So now let's talk about textures. We created a color map and a normal map for this object, so we need to bring those in as well. I'll click over to my textures folder in Unity, and I'll find that folder on my drive where we saved the color and normal maps. So I'll take this color and I'll drag it in, and I'll take the normal map as well and drag that in. Now all we have to do is apply these textures to the object. So I have the object selected here, and over here it's added a standard shader in Unity. It's a Unity shader that allows us to drag in color into the albedo slot. It will allow us to drag in a normal map. We could make ambient occlusion maps. The standard shader in Unity is really versatile and kind of the go-to material in Unity now. So what I can do is I can take this color map and drag it into the albedo slot to get that on my object. And I can also take the normal map and drag it into the normal slot, and that will add normal information onto the object. Now notice it did some weird things to it. What it's saying here is that the texture needs to be marked as a normal map, and all you have to do is just click Fix Now. And there we are. Our textures are now on our object. If we zoom in a bit, we can see that there they are. And they look pretty good. So this is the process we'll be using for all of the models in our level. I'll start bringing them in, and then we can begin arranging them.